There it is. What's
Right
up,
on.
man?
How you
There we
doing,
go.
brother?
Doing good. Let me turn my volume up. All right. Okay, you can hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Awesome, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Good to talk to you.
Yes, indeed, man. I'm glad to have you. You guys have a lot of great stuff going on, and if you want, we can boogie right into this.
Jump right in.
All right, let's do it. Boom.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we played for a long time back in the day, right? And I mean, we played from 87 to 2002 basically. Took We had enough. Done. Took 21 years off, decided, you know what? Let's do this again for fun. Let's just have a good time with friends. And this has also led to us playing and doing stuff again. And now we have got some really cool old school release CDs. F&A Records is re-released our first two discs that we put out. And it's awesome. So we're like so excited to be doing this again. Didn't think anything like this had happened. I mean, we've got huge page booklets with photos and things. I mean, it's like I was looking at these the other night. I'm like, God, I just never thought I'd be revisiting this and all this kind of stuff. And the sales of these have been doing amazing. I'm super crazy happy, right? It's been amazing to do this again and have this kind of reaction.
That's amazing. And I just want to introduce everybody that's tuning in. This is Tony Starlin, who is the lead singer of Foxy Roxx, a
Good to see everybody.
legendary band from the Sunset Strip, and he is carrying the flag into the modern day. You guys are actively playing the strip these days. And I thought it was
Sure.
an incredible story. You know, a lot of us who did it back in the day think, well, man, what if we called the guys up and what if we
Right.
got out there and do it and you're doing it?
So it came about, we talked about it. I've had friends that have come over and we've goofed around and played some of our songs and just had fun, right? Because I mean, I used to be the drummer a long time ago before I became the singer. So I would set up my kit, I would play the drums and sing, and we would just have a good time. And we talked about it. Hey, wouldn't it be fun to redo it? But then the reality starts to come in of people's lives, work, family, all, these things have to be priorities, right?
Yeah.
And then I was in Hawaii actually, and I remember looking at Instagram and I saw the Zeros are going to play all original members. And I'm like, what the hell? And I've known Danny a long time from the Zeros. And um, I I called the Whisky and I said, I want in. I hadn't talked to anybody else, by the way, in the band, but I said, I want in. We'll do it. And
Wow.
the support slot was already taken, but we got the one right before that, I think. And then we booked it, and then made the phone calls, and we just decided to do it, and it's just been so much fun.
That's awesome, man. And the great thing is you can give us some deep perspective of what the strip was like then and what the strip's like now.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's sobering, maybe sobering reality, but I mean, you know, for us, it's fun, right?
it's totally fun. I mean, look, back in the day, right? The thing is, for playing now, our perspective is so different. Like, I'm not out looking for the deal. I'm not out looking for whatever. We're just four guys that are friends, having fun, that are grateful to play and stand on the Whiskey stage and play. And the scene is so different now. And even for us, like we'll play with a band like Faster Pussycat or, whoever, any time that something's sold out, even including like we got one coming up June 14th with Steven Adler. It's packed, it's completely sold out, it's oversold, you can't walk through there. But like 20 minutes after the show's done, the strip is empty. It's like, and it's a weird vibe. It's like, I'm older too, everybody's getting older, but I don't need to be in bed by midnight. Like you're out, stay out, let's have some fun. Like we
Yeah.
always go up to the rainbow, and it's just that the strip is so different now compared to how it used to be.
How is that's a good point because if I was in your shoes and I just played the whiskey again, I'd be like, well, now we have to go to the rainbow. That's just that's
every
part
t-
of it.
every time we've gone to the rainbow, I
And
sometimes,
how is the crowd there? How is the
oh,
crowd there?
uh, it's crowded, but it's not like it used to be, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
still people, but you can walk up and we always get a table. I
Yeah.
mean, and we always like or get service or get a pizza or drinks versus back in the day, right? You'd go in and they're like, no, because it's just
It was
packed.
packed.
I
Yeah.
mean, we like as a band, if you were in like with Mario and them, we could always get in,
Yeah.
but we weren't getting a table,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's just no, it was too crowded.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of space now. Doesn't mean the people that are there are there. Everybody's having a great time,
Yeah.
but I do find it odd that it's just like it clears out. And
Yeah.
I understand people. You get older and things, but you don't have to do this every night. You don't have to stay out till 4 in the morning every night. But come on,
Yeah.
if you're out, live it, have
Yeah.
fun.
That speaks to the I call it the stage high.
Yeah,
And you come off stage, and I can imagine you guys are going to be opening for Steven Adler. He's going to be
yeah,
cranking out those Guns N' Roses songs that make you want to just party and pretend it's 87 all over again.
100%.
And you're going to come off that show, and you're just going to have the kind of energy that, well, if you got a long drive, I guess it would get you home. But I mean, it's like futile trying to go to sleep after you do something like that.
It is. I every time we've played up here since we got back together, I think it's literally like 4 in the morning or somewhere in that genre before we're sleeping, right? Or going to
Yeah.
bed. Like we book a hotel usually right across the street at the London. And London's amazing. It's a great
Yeah.
hotel. I mean, so literally we get ready, walk through the lobby, and go across the street and play. So as you're getting older, you want conveniences, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas before I'd drive back to San Diego, or whereas I ain't doing that. I just want to have fun, park
Yeah.
myself, and let's have a great time all night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something now, we talk about on the channel back in the day with the pay to play and stuff like that. Are they still doing some kind of
They are.
process like that?
So, yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But here's my take on the whole pay to play, and I know people hated it and still hate it. I we got to where back in the day where we didn't have to do it anymore because we had the draw. So it was like we didn't do it. I
Yeah.
mean, we did it, but then we got to where we didn't need to. My take on the pay to play is that it just forces you as a band, unless you want to pay $1,500 to play the Whiskey, well, you don't want to play to four people if you're a new band.
Yeah.
So I think it motivates people to get out there and sell those tickets.
Yeah.
If you're the 8 o'clock band, you're the 9 o'clock band, 10, whatever, sell those tickets, get that place packed, and get your money back. And then you're going to have a good crowd, right?
Yeah.
That's better for every band that
Yeah.
plays. You want a nice packed crowd that's there to enjoy rock music.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it in the way that we always sell the tickets for
Yeah.
us. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But it just motivates you, I think, to
Yeah.
to get up and work.
You guys are a known entity. And so it would be nothing for you guys to sell your tickets. It's a lesson for younger bands
Yeah,
who maybe don't realize, yeah, hey, this is not easy. Look, I heard a story the other day on TikTok. This guy was
right.
talking about a band that I think they were unsigned or they had a small deal, but I mean they had nothing. They were nobodies. And they went and booked a tour and then spent about 20 to 40 grand hiring seat fillers in all these little crappy venues that their tour was on.
Oh, to make it look huge.
And then because people saw in the trades that, hey, they're selling out these 200 seaters, they got picked up by a band to open on a more
A kind of
elevated
legit tour, yeah.
platform. So I,
I
I
mean, look,
mean,
whether you're a big business or you're a band, if you look at it like that, it's marketing, right? You're marketing, you're advertising. And in their case, it worked out, right? And
yeah,
you got to spend money to make
yeah.
money.
I
Um,
would rather try to hustle and sell 100 tickets than cough
right.
up 20 grand.
Well, to me too. I mean, again, it's not, look, being in the band has never been inexpensive in any way that you go. Even for us, like Okay, great. We're going to get back together. Okay, what are we going to, how are we going to present ourselves? And then it started like, okay, let's just go out as us now and let's just play in the songs. And then we are like, oh, hell with that.
Yes.
We're Foxy Roxx. Let's give people what they want to see. To recreate that, we had to build these new walls. We had to recreate the signs, which, I
Yeah.
mean, and clothes, things, boots, the whole bit that you used to have that was commonplace, I didn't have anymore.
Yeah.
And so you're spending money again to give something visual for us. So we wanted to, if we were going to do it, we wanted to be able to say, hey, this is how it was done. And this is how, in my opinion, it still should be done today. You should
Yeah.
get up there, give people something. And we're trying our best to just bring that old school mentality of like, yeah, we could just go up there and play and I want to sound good, but I want to give you something more.
Yeah. Yeah. I was impressed with your Foxy or sign that you guys did with all the lights and stuff like that. And I saw like one of your whiskey shows and the presentation of the staging and the all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, it,
Bands could learn a lot from you guys. And
uh,
and look, man, you did it all yourself.
well, and that's the thing. I think you just got to do it because people ask us all the time, like, oh, where'd you buy those? Where'd you get it? Well, we just did it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of blisters on the hands pushing, you know, 2,000 lights into little holes and burning yourself with a glue gun. I mean, uh, but we had fun doing it. It was
Yeah.
weekends, right? And we sit around, we have some drinks, we talk, we laugh, we listen to music, and we just did it to get ready.
Yeah.
And again,
That's part of the David Lee Roth used to talk about. He would scrub the stage floor like the night before they were gonna, go on some big stadium thing, just to know that he had done everything he could possibly do to that he was gonna put on a good show. And,
right.
and that speaks to that.
I just feel like when I go see bands, and I still, all the time get out and see live music. I love live music, and but there are bands that you see that are just going through the motions and they're getting their paycheck and whatever. And it's not that they don't sound good, they do, but you know, at the end of the show, am I like exhausted? Yeah, I'm tired. Some of these other bands I see that just stand there and play, I bet they could just, go do whatever. I mean, I'm going to give every ounce of energy and everything that I got, as well as our drummer, our guitar player, our bass player. Our mentalities are all the same, you know.
Yeah.
I just want
That's
to give people something.
that speaks to, for one, it's different in doing a four set bar gig
Yeah,
and
right.
doing what you guys do, which is we go hard for the full 45 minutes or
Yeah,
60 minutes or 90 minutes, whatever your set list. That was the thing about LA, man. Is man, you might go up there and do 45 minutes, you might do 30 minutes, whatever you were going to do, but you were going to go full on, you were going to be in full combat mode,
yeah. I
on
mean,
those stages.
all the bands back in the day when we were doing it were doing what we were doing, meaning like you had Big Bang Babies, Peppermint Creeps, who's Creeps are still playing like once a year. We've played with them a couple times. I love those guys. And but they come out old school. The black lights only, that the glowing walls, they have fog jets like we have, like, they're in costumes, they're makeup, like, you know, every band back in the 80s was doing something,
Hmm.
right? Some sort of a stage thing or lights, or it was like other band like Tricks had light up signs. Like everybody had something because they were also trying to be bigger than life, right?
Yeah.
And I really do think that that mentality got lost for a long time here, that there was this weird thing of if you were trying to give a show, you weren't some serious musician.
Yeah.
And I couldn't disagree with that more. I mean, our
Yeah.
first thing is I want to sound good. I want to sound as good as I can.
Yeah.
And then I want to do other stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I think you can do both.
It's an important lesson, and I want to get back to the rocking out, and aging thing,
Yeah.
because I know, from my time, when I was still gigging in Nashville, and I play these 4 hour long gigs, and the next day, dude, I feel like I was crippled, right? I get out of bed, I'm look like Mr. Burns, And my
Yeah.
wife's like,
Oh
"Why are
yeah.
you walking like that?" I'm like, "I had a 8 pound instrument, strapped around my back for four
Yeah.
hours straight.
I,
What?
I I won't even lie about it. I mean, Advil's my friend, right? It's like so between running around, I'm wearing big like platform boots. We have the song "Who Killed MTV," where I bring out the big giant MTV sign and I swing around a bat and I smash the crap out of it and throw it out in the audience. All of these things the next day, just like you're saying, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I was hit by a car,
Yeah,
you know? But it's short term, right?
yeah,
It's fine. I could
yeah,
deal with it. It's okay.
yeah, yeah. It,
So
it
blood, sweat, and
it's
tears.
I always found that, and here's a tip for you old rockers out there, that magnesium. Somebody told me once, they said, well, you're hurt. You hurt because you're low on magnesium. So I don't know. I got some magnesium supplements, and it seemed to help a little bit.
I'll
But
try that on the next. I'll try that on the next one. I mean, for sure, I'll try it.
yeah, I mean,
It's like
it's
I
it's
go
worth
out
a
there and
shot.
pretend like I'm 26, right? But it's like, hey, the reality is they're older, but proud of it. I'm proud to stand there and
Yeah,
say, you know what? At this age, I'm 58. Just
yeah.
so we're throwing it out there,
Same
right?
same here. Same
Okay.
here.
So I'm proud to stand up there at 58, looking like this, putting on the makeup, doing the things, running around. I'm proud of it. It's
Yeah,
legit for me. It's not an act. This is like who we were, but I'm the same person now, just older.
yeah.
And I think it's the feelings that I have now playing are like I'll never forget this time, however long we continue to do this. It's it's just so cool to be doing it. And I look down now, there's my kids, there's my family, and
Wow.
it's just awesome. I love it.
That's amazing, man. And it speaks to, because you're originally from, San Diego, right? So you're like a native
Correct.
Californian.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of us that came out there for that time period, we were all carpetbagging sons of bitches, and we saw MTV and we came
Yeah.
out,
Oh yeah.
but eventually we're like, okay, I'm out, you
Well,
know.
that's why we never lived in LA. Like, I mean, for me, we were at the time we were a San Diego band. I'm Orange County now, so I'm in right in between, an hour each way. Um, we never wanted to live in LA because for us, when we went up there and did our thing, it was fun for people to see us again, not see us every night on the strip. Like it was cool, it was good for us, fun for everybody. And I felt we kept a different edge and perspective on it, right? Versus being one of those people that just hung out in the bar every single night,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
burn yourself out.
yeah,
So, I mean, but we would drive up. Sometimes we were in Hollywood 4 days a week,
yeah,
like because there was flyering or
yeah,
shows or, the old
yeah.
school, we flyered everything.
Now, do you remember? Because I've told this story, is when all of a sudden they cracked down on the flyers on the
Oh
strip.
yeah. Yeah, big time remember that. I mean
And
those telephone poles were this much thicker. Like it's like there were so many flyers on those light poles and electrical boxes and all that stuff, right?
yeah, the flyer wars with and I remember doing it one night where we got a bunch of wallpaper
Yep.
glue and we
Yeah.
went up and down Laurel Canyon
Yeah.
and did all, because we figured, man, a lot of people are going back and forth on this road and you can hit all those poles. But as soon as you do it, an hour or two later, somebody
Oh
else has
yeah.
come behind and
Oh,
and
fully. I mean that yeah. So you were always better to do it late at night. You had the best chance of it staying up for a couple days before
yeah,
someone went over it. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, we did that all the time. I mean,
Yeah, I remember the first time that when they cracked down on the flyers. And look, before that, man, the strip was, and this, you got to figure, this is what, 91,
yeah, it's probably like 91, 92, somewhere in there.
92. And here's the thing, man, everybody talks about grunge, decimating the strip and all this. For all of us out there, it was business as usual.
Yes, it was.
And I didn't care about Pearl Jam. I was like, yeah, whatever. It's doesn't really
Right.
it's
Didn't
not for
care.
me, but whatever. It is what it is. And I don't, it wasn't this all of a sudden the light switch got turned off. I mean, you guys put out your debut album in 1995,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we kept going. I mean, that's what I mean. There was that definitely there was that scene was changing, and that's fine. But I mean, you still had Gazaris and things, and then you had, which would became Key Club, but you had the Roxy, the Troubadour, the Whiskey, and then stuff out in the Valley, FM station. All that was still we were still playing, and tons of bands like us. We were all still doing this for many years, regardless of what the music scene on MTV became.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and it was again, I think we pushed on really well with that. And I'm proud to be one of the last bands that was still doing what we felt was the right cool thing to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's why it's cool to do it again. I just look at it and go, God, we kind of we're still doing this, and it's like it's just fun.
It's really an amazing story because I can tell you that it's a couple of my guys, one old singer, an old drummer, they all reached out and said, "Hey man, let's record this song or let's do this." Okay, I can record at home. Yeah, no problem, right? But getting people to actually show up, and it's not even like they're not even having to pay anything. We've got a studio, we got, and it's like you can't even get them to just show up. And I literally talked to one guy on the phone, and oh well, I've got this, and I said, look, dude, I've got this, and I've got that
We all
too.
have that,
But
right?
I can, it's like if you want to just leave things the way they were, falling apart and crumbling, and have nothing to show for it, because we never recorded a demo. We never got to go into the studio.
Yeah.
And now it's easy. Now we can all do it.
Anybody can do it. I mean, even the headphones that I'm wearing here are going into my Scarlett right here. That's for recording. That's coming out in the microphone for singing. I mean, everything. So our new stuff that's going to be coming out, we're recording it at our drummer Purdy's house, and
Wow.
he's fully set up. Like he's old school, so he's got old school stuff, new stuff, everything, and it's just been a blast. I mean, to go stand in his house in that room and but we have our challenges too. So I'm Orange County, Purdy's in San Diego, Bobby, our bass player, is in Huntington Beach, not far from me, like 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. But Davey, our guitar player, is in Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
So like everybody has to do their homework for these things, right? And a lot of times Davey will fly in a couple months before a show. We have rehearsals for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then we always, when he comes in, we always rehearse. He'll come in on, like, say the show's on a Saturday, like the Steven Adler is a Saturday, right? We'll rehearse on the Thursday, like really hard, right? Several
Yeah.
times through the set, and then Friday off, and then go play the show. But
Yeah.
everybody's pre-done their rehearsing,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Prepping for the rehearsal. And
Right.
you guys have that. It's like when I listen to your album, which is now available on F&A Records.
Yes.
It's your debut album. It's being re-released, and you can buy that. I will make sure to put the link to where you can get that CD
Be
in
great.
the description of this video. But that style, the style of music that you're doing was ahead of its time because it's that pop punk, it's like I'm going, well, hell, this was Green Day before Green Day in some ways sonically.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about as far as that. I mean, look, my influences too for me were like things like the Ramones, for example, or whatever, or these kind of bands. Yeah, I liked the pop thing and whatever, like the glam, and I like Poison, I like Motley Crue, but I think I related when it came to trying to write something, and not all of the songs, but I'm saying just the vibe of what I feel is more like Ramones, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
straightforward. The new songs are very straightforward. To me, they could have come off, let's say, like the second Foxy Roxx album, Mixed Up World. I mean, the two that we're gonna. So F&A is gonna put out now vinyl. They're gonna do
Wow.
vinyl, best of Foxy Roxx with 4 songs from the first album, one side, 4 on the other. But on each side, there'll be a new song from us.
Wow.
There'll be one's called "Get Ready to Party" and one's called "Hell Yeah." And
Awesome.
to me, they're legit like old school glam punk rock and roll fun. There's no earth-shattering change here. It's what we did, and it's
Yeah.
just so I think people will really like it.
Yeah. What are the challenges of, keeping that energy level up? I mean, are we talking a Red Bull before the show, or what do you
Mazoa
got?
guy,
Zoa?
Soa. It's from The Rock, right? He's. I love this stuff. It's great.
Okay,
Um,
okay. I've got my unsweet iced tea. That's my poison.
100%. There's those for me, right? I mean, I've always kind of been blessed my whole life with energy, meaning I don't get much sleep as it is. I never have really needed it. Like 5.5 hours a night, maybe six
Yeah,
max,
yeah.
and I'm good. And so for me, like I'm okay to stay up late. I'm okay to do stuff. I mean, so there's energy. It's more the soreness sometimes, or the things just
Yeah.
stuff you're
Yeah.
not used to doing anymore.
Man, this is an incredible story, and I think people are going to really like to hear this because there's very few. There's a few guys. I won't mention any names, but they'll go and they'll do a show, but there's not too many original people in the band, or it's not the same presentation. You guys are going full bore, like it's 1980,
That was the
94.
plan.
You're going full bore like 94.
Yeah,
And that's really amazing. Your music is very anthemic. This is party music. This is good
yeah,
time music. It's
right.
feel good. And it here's the thing, man. Everybody lumps all these bands on the Sunset Strip and say it's all the same. What I hear you guys doing and what I hear Dokken doing, or Van Halen, or Motley Crue, or Guns N' Roses, or any of these, LA bands, Red Hot Chili Peppers, or whatever, it's all different. Every single one of them is different.
Right. I agree with that.
And for everybody to kind of lump it all into one thing, man,
Hmm.
I would say there was a pretty diverse. You might have had one thing in common, that people had long hair, and maybe
Yeah,
their pants were tighter than the
yeah,
guy working at the bank.
yeah,
But other than that, man, I think there's a lot. I mean, you guys are part of a movement. I called it in a recent video, the glamour punk look. It's
yeah.
kind of that look. Now I know there was a band called the Glamour Punks.
They're playing again too, by the way, now. So it's everybody comes out of the woodwork. So
We'll
they,
we'll give them a shout out. And I would, that was a thing, a certain style. And then
yeah,
there was the gutter gypsy kind
yep,
of
yep,
guys, the
oh yeah,
the the the
yeah,
Johnny Thunders kind of look-alike kind of guys.
yeah.
But it was a diverse scene, and I think this story is so compelling, is that you're doing it. You're out there doing it now, and I think that's an incredible thing, man. And
No, I appreciate that. I mean, it's again, it's like there won't be a time ever, and there hasn't been since we did it again, that I'm not in the whiskey dressing room, walking up the stairs or walking to the stage or playing on the stage or looking around at lights, interacting with people, that I'm not extremely grateful, and I take it for what it is. That wow, okay, we get to play the Whiskey a Go Go. Um, I think a lot of bands I see there, it's just another gig. Come on, it's the whiskey. Okay,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
playing the Whiskey a Go Go.
yeah,
It's a historic place. So many people have played there. It's not just another club. Any of these Hollywood clubs, they're part of the folklore of Hollywood,
yeah,
and I don't take it lightly. None of our guys do. We just really are enjoying what we're doing right now.
yeah.
It's a whole different vibe now at this age. It's great.
It's a rich history too, because it's not just the LA metal bands. It was the Doors. It
Right.
was Jimi Hendrix. It was the band Chicago. It
Yeah.
was Frank Zappa. It's like, man, that place is so legendary. And it's like you said, man, being grateful for the experience. We had the experience back in the day, but
Yeah.
man, how cool is it that you're getting to play it again, and you're playing with Steven Adler for the love of
Yeah,
God.
I mean it's been really really fun. That's what I'm saying. Like playing with these bands or that we're playing with has been awesome. I mean, back in the day, we played with yeah all the '80s bands that I ever liked. I've played with, which is awesome. But then that stopped, and then so now to kind of again revisit, and yeah, I think it's awesome that we're playing with Steven Adler. I think it's great that we played with Faster Pussycat, or we're talking about doing the New Year's show with LA Guns. These things are great. I mean, they're just something that again we really appreciate. It's playing rock music, whether it's at your house or the whiskey. It's important if you love it, right?
Yeah,
And we love to play. We're all musicians that love to play.
yeah.
Even when I wasn't playing on the stage, I was playing at my house here with my electric drum kit and doing things and just, having fun.
Yeah, that's amazing, man, because it does come down to the love of music. But like getting back to what you just mentioned, you've played with, and I've got a list here.
Yeah, there's a list.
Yeah, Dokken, Great White,
Yeah.
Tough, Enough's Enough, Slaughter, Warrant, L.A. Guns, and then I'll throw a wild card out, the Impotent Sea
Yeah,
Snakes.
I remember the Impotent Sea Snakes. Yeah, I loved them. They were great. They were
So
so good.
they were now if this is a they were I guess an underground band,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
And I had heard of them. I think they were from New Orleans, right?
I don't remember where they were from exactly, but I know it was like Midwest or, somewhere back there,
Yeah.
back east. And
And and I had heard that it was like a live sex show or something, right?
they used to come out and it was implied stuff. There was never anything like overly, out there, but they'd come out and there's a guy in the gas mask and the fetishy kind of ball in the mouth and he's got a grinder grinding on some girl's crotch like that she has a metal like underwear on and there's sparks coming off of her. Like, I mean, just this insane guy, with hooks and they're hoisting him up and he's hanging from his chest, like
Wow.
off the rafters. It was crazy stuff, but we
What
used to love to play with them.
so you did a bunch of shows with them?
Oh yeah. Look, we were the only freaky band in San Diego. I can fully say that. Like maybe in the early '80s, there was a couple, right,
Yeah.
that were playing and did the glam thing and did all that. But once that went away, in all through the '90s, like we were it.
Yeah.
It's not even like there was another band even close to us. That San Diego got very much on the grunge kind of train.
Yeah.
And so any weird band that would come, the clubs would call us, but hey, guys want to play with them? Sure. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And we would play.
That's a good place to be because
Yeah, I'm
and
okay with
here's the thing, you
that.
guys are guaranteed. It's like the club owners must have you on speed dial
Yeah,
because these guys are going to come, they're going to put on a show, they're going to be on time, in tune, ready to rock. They're going to have their staging, they're going to have all this stuff, they're going to look good, they're going to
yeah,
sound
we show
good.
up ready for sure.
Yeah, and you're professionals. I mean,
Right.
can you speak to that about getting on and off the stage, and
Sure.
etiquette? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I think just what you said, there is an etiquette to it, meaning if you're going to show up out of respect to the sound guy, the club, the other bands that are going to come after you, show up, be on time, do your thing, time your set, know that your set is 30 minutes, 45 minutes with talking and everything. Like we
Yeah,
rehearse everything. So it's like when we play, what I say might vary, but that it's still within a time constraint that we're trying to keep everything. We know where we're supposed to be. We have people that come with us to help put up and take down immediately. We're off the stage in like 5 minutes.
yeah.
We're quick.
Wow.
Um, when we get to the whiskey, there's a lot of prep work early. I'll get there before Adler this time.
Yeah,
We run our wires underneath the drum riser so that they're all color coded. So all someone's got to come in then, put the signs down, put the fog jets in, put the lights, put the walls. Everything's ready to go. So we're never going to hold anybody up.
yeah. Man, that's probably the greatest lesson anybody can hear right there. And man, I've played gigs, and look, we're talking like little in Nashville. It's kind of like, okay, this band plays from 2 to 6, and then the next band plays from 6 to 10 or whatever. And so there's not even a designated time, for line check or anything. It's just kind of
Right.
like throw and go. But then you got these guys that are lackadaisical about getting their stuff off, and dude, that just chaps my
Uh,
hide.
Me too. It bothers me when we've got to get our stuff in, and I see these guys just like sitting around. They're talking. It's like, come on, dude. You had your time, just like
Yeah,
we're gonna do. Let's just move it, because
yeah,
it's respect, right? You respect. If you respect everybody and respect one another, everything is a perfect ride for everybody.
yeah,
Respect the sound guy, respect the monitor guy. Don't yell at them. Go turn it up and all these. I see all kinds of crazy stuff. Respect them. They're people. They're doing a
yeah.
job. Um, that's how
And
we
how is
roll with it.
that? As because you know, when I moved to Nashville, the days of playing through a 412 cab and a Marshall head, those days were pretty much over because
Yeah.
they would shit a brick. I one time rolled into a club with two Marshall heads and two 412s, and the sound guy just, well, you can't if you can't carry it. I go, dude, I can carry a 412 in each arm. Don't
Right.
worry about it. But playing the whiskey, I assume you guys are still using, a Marshall head and a cab and all that kind of stuff. Or
So we're not actually because at this day there's no need to have that kind of equipment to be able to get that sound,
yeah,
right? Things
yeah,
have changed.
yeah,
So we literally, I mean, look, the whiskey has backline. It's always there, right?
yeah,
There's a great bass cab, there's a great guitar, and there's a head. Typically, people bring their own heads, plug in, but literally what we've been doing is we bring a PV amp,
yeah,
small PV amp with our tones already set in it, direct out into their stuff, and it's good. And it comes through the house, so it just sounds like it's huge.
yeah, yeah.
And it's just and even the whiskey having their own kit there all the time now for people to use.
Is
We don't have to lug the drums.
yeah,
We don't have to do all this stuff, so it just makes it a lot easier for us. We have
yeah,
enough stuff with the walls and the signs.
yeah,
Like if we
yeah.
had to do cabs, I don't even know what we would do.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes it look as you get older, man. And I've talked about this on the channel. It's the same thing for me, man. Rolling in with these tube amps, I don't want to pull those out of the trunk anymore. I
Right.
started showing up with a solid state amp just because it's like, man, it's lighter. I don't have to worry about getting injured,
Yeah.
loading into the club, and all that. So, man, I understand it, and absolutely, dude, you can get a Marshall guitar tone many different ways now. You know,
It's again all the plugins and all the like we're recording through Cakewalk, you know, and it's just got everything that you need right there. It's all in front of you. Any sound, any delay, any whatever. I mean,
yeah,
any tone, it's all there. So it's an amazing thing to be able to do from like sitting in your office area.
yeah.
It's where I'm at right now. So I mean, it's like it's amazing. You can do anything that you need to do, and you don't
Remember
have to
how
have all the
hard it was back in the day, probably when you guys were recording your first album, and the guitar player's going, it's not quite the sound I want.
Oh
It was
yeah.
so hard back then, dude.
Well, I remember even going to like our first albums. Like I think it took hours to try to dial in any reasonable good tone and drum tones. Get it. Like now, it's just like the electric kit. It sounds like it sounds like it's precision drums and it's
Yeah,
perfect and it's
yeah,
quality
yeah,
and it's simple and it's
yeah,
like So we have a great. I mean, our drummer has a huge kit, but he's using electric. He's
yeah,
playing it and the sound is done. One
yeah.
take, it's done.
It's done.
So
And look, you can get back to produce the music, and then you can get back out there and play it live. And the
yeah,
faster you can do
exactly.
that and the better results you can get, it's so much easier than it was back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm all that stuff. I mean, look, dude, if we all had things like YouTube or Instagram, I can't even imagine that. Like, I mean,
Would have
I would
conquered
have
the
put,
world.
oh yeah, exactly. I would have put on a video like every 3 days. I mean, like I would have
Yeah,
just done so much stuff. And it's
yeah,
like nowadays a kid, like that's what I do like about it, that you can like do something, press a button, and it goes out to the world essentially.
yeah,
I think this is great from a marketing standpoint for bands that are trying to have people hear their music.
yeah.
It's huge.
It's they. I don't know if they realize what they have.
No, they don't.
We had to get a fan one at a time with by
Dude,
handing out flyers.
I used to sit in my house and I would call Ohio, generically the operator in Ohio, and I'd say, "Hey, give me all the music stores around your area, like guitar centers or whatever they're think they would give me those. I would call all those and ask if I could send them flyers for our CD. So,
Wow.
and they would put them, we would send out thousands and thousands and thousands of these. But then all of a sudden, we're getting all these orders from the Midwest and all these different places because our flyers were in the music store and someone would pick them up, take it home,
Wow.
and order.
Wow.
So much work, though, right? Just
Yeah.
tremendous amounts of legwork to get it done. Now, just Instagram. There you go. You know,
Yeah. And what about back in the day, the hotline? I'm sure you guys had a hotline,
we
right?
did. We had the Fox line.
The
Yeah, we had that.
Fox line.
Yeah, we had the Fox
So
line. It was like something we got the letters KTLA in our thing, so it made it sound like,
you
we were
were a
like Los
radio
Angeles.
station.
Yeah, a radio station. It was and yeah, we had the Fox line for years.
What would you, I mean, for us, we had a line and it was like it's Friday night and we're not playing and you go, well, the hotline's ringing, should we pick it up? And it could be a party on the line. Like it'd be like,
Yeah, yeah,
hey, these girls want to take us to something, or, do something or whatever, and hilarity, would ensue, right?
oh, yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, I always answered the phone. I always just, hey, how's it going? It's Tony. And then you start talking, and then there was a party, or there was something, or people wanted tickets for your show, and yeah, that's just again a lot of legwork, but
Yeah.
that's how we did it.
And sometimes it would be somebody, like you said, from the Midwest.
Yeah,
And they go, we saw your picture in some little zine, or something.
yeah, right, right,
And
yeah,
we're calling you guys. Is this you guys? That kind of thing. And
yeah. Oh
it,
no,
it,
we
it
got a lot of
was
that.
it,
I mean,
now people are afraid to pick up the phone. They just want to hide behind their screens, kind of, but
yeah,
back then, and like you said, having to, as far as like what we used to do is we'd get a mailing list and we'd go out with
yeah.
clipboards.
We had that mailing list. Yeah,
And so, and I'd have to make notes. Okay, blonde loves Motley Crue.
right. Dude,
Brunette, dad works at record label,
that's so funny. We did
star
the same
by and
thing
stuff. So
because you're trying to
then
remember who it is.
you had to remember
Yeah,
because you would then go, okay, you'd wait the standard 2 or 3 days, right, before you call anybody. And then you call them and you'd have your notes. So you could go, oh, hey, yeah, I met you down at the strip. And
yeah.
yeah, we were talking about this and that. And you're trying to create a relationship or some kind of thing to where they're involved in coming to see you play.
100%. We did the same thing. We had the mailing lists and all that, and it was like, okay, show's coming up. Let's get out the mailing list, and we'd do envelopes, and a flyer in the envelope and whatever, and send out just tons and tons and tons of these things, and hope people showed up at our shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Can you give us like one like wild story of something, so, maybe something happening on the strip or some little nugget for the people out there.
I'm trying to think. There were so many weird, there were so many weird things that happened back then. Um, I mean, well, again, there was a lot of like crazy stuff, whether it be like, you'd be walking down the strip or doing everything, and then you look over, here's limousines all the time with like topless girls like hanging out of the top of the limousine or that kind of thing, right? Um, there was always your random fight between some band on the street, those kind of crazy things. We may have drank too much one night, and we came out of a friend of ours party that we were playing at. They asked if we'd play, so we went in and played at it and had fun. And I don't know why, but there was a tour bus coming, and I jumped up on top of one of the mailboxes that would have Bam magazine in it or whatever. Not mailboxes,
Yeah,
whatever you
those
call
mag they would
the
have the what was
magazine.
even what was the one that was like the escorts in it? What
Yeah,
was
right. All that. There was all that stuff there. But I remember jumping up on top of that. And I remember like dropping my pants and like, going "Yeah," screaming. There's like a tour bus come by taking pictures. And
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I saw somewhere there's a lot of pictures. And but just crazy stuff like that all the time. You go to the parties at the houses in the hills and you open up a bedroom, you're trying to find a bathroom, and there's just people having sex. Just all the extreme stuff that people talk about from the 80s, like, was there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was rampant. It was just everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. For you, and San Diego's a different vibe. San
it
Diego's
is.
it was more of a family kind of thing, but very beach, man. The beach there and
Yes.
the girls in San Diego were a lot more wholesome and
Oh, God, yeah.
than than when you get up to Hollywood. So I remember one time we went down and played down in San Diego, and it was some little packed club, and it was just the audience is right there, and it was just full of San Diego girls, and they were like the holy grail because these aren't like those trollops up in
No,
LA.
dude,
Y- you know,
totally, man. There's a big difference between a crowd in San Diego and a crowd in LA, especially in the 80s. I
yeah,
mean, so yeah, I mean, that's, again, I mean, I'm a real family guy, right? I have kids and the whole thing. And I've known my wife from San Diego was the girl right down the street. I mean, she literally,
wow,
so I've known her since I was 4. And
wow,
so, like, I mean, Darcy's great. I mean, in fact, I had her come and she's singing some backups with us on the new album, right? It's kind of fun.
wow.
It's like, hey, we're throwing it out there, singing. It's fun.
That's
So, I mean,
amazing.
but yeah, great girl and from San Diego,
Yeah.
so
You could count on a San Diego girl a lot more than you could count on the girl in LA. The girl
yeah.
in LA would be there when everything's rolling.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but as
There were
soon as you got a flat tire on your car and maybe the band lost their lead singer,
out.
LA girl is off on the next hopped on the next tour bus they could find.
Yeah, I saw that so many times back in the day. I mean, gives you perspective though, right? Like on, what you want or what you don't want too. I mean,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
I always had that with, I thought it was kind of weird. Like when I was the drummer, I mean, I got attention, meaning people come up, oh, hey, loved your show and cool, right? Um, but then when I ended up becoming the singer, the same girls that wouldn't give me the time of day back then all of a sudden wanted to talk to me.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, no, we're good. Like, because,
That's a lesson.
it's
That's a
just what you
lesson.
talk about. It's just that, like, the fair weather friend, right? That it's
Yeah.
just everything's good, great. But if not, it's just so that doesn't interest me that way,
Yeah, yeah, man. That speaks to a lot because obviously the lead singer, some girls are like, no, I don't want to talk to the bass player. I don't want to talk to the drummer.
right?
Sometimes the guitar player, back in those days, the guitar player and the singer almost got, first choice
Yeah,
sometimes. And you learn the character of these girls
you
wasn't
do.
always. And here's the thing, man. You play Friday night at the Whisky, and maybe you're headlining, and you're a god, and every girl's swarming you and all this stuff. But then and you stay in town, and the next night your friend bands is playing, and he invites you down, and you go, and now you're in the audience, and those same girls are oohing and on over the guy that's on stage, and you're all of a sudden nobody
Yeah,
again.
you're nobody, right? I mean, again, that's just never appealed to me. I've never was never that. Like, I was never driven by like wanting to play music to get chicks, and I just, again, like I've always have been in relationships and things, and just not, that just wasn't my motivation for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so when you see what you're just talking about, all these girls that are just like bouncing from guy to guy to guy, I'm like, you were with 50 guys last week. I'm like, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a little weird.
The girls would be wilder than the guys in a lot of cases, and they would be stealth about it. You wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yep. I know, right? All that stuff, man. Again, the whole excess everybody talks about, especially back then, it's all true. Like,
Now, you guys played back in the day, I think with the original lineup, I believe you guys played Mexico City.
we did. We flew down to Mexico City and played shows down there. We played in Mexico City. There's another town called Cuernavaca. The other ones escape me at the moment, but that was great. Like I we we went down there and nobody spoke English, and we were playing these huge clubs. There was thousands of people in these clubs, and they were like right at the front. And they were, by the time we were done, they're singing our songs. They're like rock and roll now, baby. It's like,
Wow.
wow, it was a really great experience. It was a really, really neat experience.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. You play in LA and the audience, and I talked about this the other day. A lot of times there's just dudes out in the audience and they're doing this
Yeah,
and they're just giving you the side eye.
you're always going to get that from the LA other band guys a lot of times,
And,
right?
and Nashville would be the same way. You could play and you could be playing your ass off and get nothing. And then you take that same skill level and go somewhere else and people lose their minds,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, it is different. There's, look, LA sees everything, right? Every show, people get jaded. But I mean, you are right. When you play something like that, it's totally different animal, and you realize, okay, it's just LA. I don't have the ego thing about myself, meaning if your band is playing and I like you, I'm going to stand in the front and I'm going to throw it
Yeah.
up and I'm going to scream like when Swinging Thing or the Glamour Punks have got back together at the Viper Room. I'm in the front and I'm screaming, I'm singing like I'm a teenager. I don't care. I'm there to
Yeah.
have fun. I'm there to support people and bands, right? So the ego of anything or whatever goes out the door. It's like, I just want to have fun. And I do think some people in bands just kind of have that, like I said, the folded arm kind of thing. And you're like, ah, dude, let it go. Just
Yeah.
have some fun. Go get a beer and have some fun. Come on.
Yeah. That's a great attitude because in all reality, and even more so now, we need each other. It takes more than one band to start a scene.
It does. It does. And I mean, again, from us coming back, I can tell you that there's been younger people that come up and are just like freaked out, like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. Because for them, it's new,
Yeah.
right? And that's how a scene can get started, right? Maybe now they'll go and take their band and be like, hey, we need to build walls like that Foxy Roxx band. Or did you see
Yeah.
those fog jets that shot up? And I think that stuff could come back a little more if people just took more time other than rolling out of their car and jumping on the stage. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It
so
takes a little bit of thought, but man, if you want to build, you're building a brand, and
you
you guys figured it out, man. I gotta salute you for those that are about to rock,
thank
because
you, man.
you guys have totally like embraced the whole thing. You figured out, how you're staging and all that. It's never really about the dwada dita
No, it's
or
not.
the yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
it's not about
dude,
that. It's
dude,
not about that. To me, it all
dude.
starts with a song. Like, is the song fun? Is it good? Is it catchy? It's not about, oh, well, I need to do this minor chord here or this, or we need to break it down here. Why? If it's
Yeah,
just going along just fine, let's
yeah,
just leave it alone.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's okay. I mean,
yeah. Man, this has been an amazing interview, and man, I'm thankful that you reached out, and I think it's an incredible story of everything that you guys have been through. I mean, let's give a shout out to Dennis Sind,
yeah,
who was your original lead singer. For people that don't know, you were originally the drummer in the band,
yes,
and Dennis Sind was your lead singer. and we lost him at the age of 19 to cancer. Can you speak on him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wrote it, in fact, in the new where is it? In the new CDs that are going to come out, by the way, if everybody gets in, you're going to see sections. All this words is me talking about Dennis,
Wow.
because they asked me, how do you feel now from how you felt at the time? And I say in there, I'll say it to you now, that that whole course of action changed my perspective on a lot of things. It's like any one of us could go 5 minutes from now. We just don't know. So love your family, love your friends, do your best as a person, right? And Dennis, losing him was really hard. I never had an urge to become a singer ever. I was very comfortable being like the Tommy Lee drummer guy.
Yeah.
And but when he asked me, he was dying. What was I gonna say? And
Yeah.
so that's how that became for me. So every time I'm on stage or whatever, I take my own little moments and I think about him. And I
Wow.
think that keeps him alive in its own way. He was important to me. He was my friend. And
Yeah.
um, I wouldn't be playing the Whiskey as a singer standing there without him,
Yeah.
right? A chain of events that started. So it's never lost on me that stuff is important, and take the relationships that we have and make sure that you cherish them, because you
Yeah.
just don't know.
What an incredible lesson that he taught you.
Yeah.
And you're living it. You're a living testimony of it today. The fact that you continue on, you're doing exactly what he would want you to do. And you stepped up, man. It's not easy. When you've got an instrument on, you can hide
It
behind the
it was not
instrument.
it
You
was
can
not
do that.
easy.
And
I mean,
and
I never had to worry about before, when you're playing the drums, what am I going to do with my hands? What do I do? Do I move? What do I walk? What do I? It's a different animal,
did you have
right?
to, what did you do to get ready for that?
The funny thing is, we I got my friend to be the drummer, which is Robbie, and we started rehearsing down San Diego. We did a little pre-show. My first singing debut was at the Whisky, for God's sakes.
Wow.
I know, and it's like, should have started smaller, but like, we did one little show at Dennis's house. He was very sick at this point, but he had all his neighborhood friends sitting. We literally set up in his living room and played,
Wow.
and then he managed to make it to my first show at the
Wow.
Whisky. So I prepared mentally as much as I could, but it really hit home at sound check when they're like, "Okay, test your mic." I'm like, uh, check on it. Just, it was an odd, if you're a drummer, you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
check. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And you're moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm standing there like, yeah, hi. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
And it took some time.
Yeah.
And with that being said, not playing for 21 years, coming back, it took me 3 or 4 shows to really get my personality back, right?
Yeah.
You got to find it again to where it just feels like, okay, it's natural,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm fine now. It's great, love it. But it
Yeah.
took me a little bit of time also to kind of jump back in.
Yeah. I can imagine, doing that and trying to navigate, okay, it's 21 years later
Yeah.
and I want to present the same quality of product. But I have to learn to navigate, and you do have to pace yourself.
Well, adrenaline kicks in too, and it
It
can
kicks in.
it can give you energy, but then it also just leaves very quickly,
Yeah.
right? And you're
Yeah.
like sucking wind, and you're like, I'm like,
Yeah.
just it just took some. I mean, I loved our first show. I'll never forget it, right? But it's like, um, we're way better now, right?
Yeah.
As each show went on, like, the progression for us was just better for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is an amazing, amazing story, and one of the best interviews that I've had on my channel. And man, I want to thank you greatly because one, you're carrying on the spirit of rock and roll. You're living the dream, brother.
I
And
appreciate. I mean, look, I appreciate you, talking with me and doing this too. I enjoyed talking with you, and you can relate. You've
Yeah.
You've been there, done that. It's good to be able to have these conversations with people that understand it. And that's why I like your interviews that you do and your things you talk about, because it's from a real perspective. It's not someone that's looking back going, do you know what the 80s were like, or that this they,
Yeah.
it's lived. You've lived it. So
Yeah.
again, proud to stand up there with some makeup on and on that damn stage at the Whiskey, and say, hell yeah, here we are. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
All
And it's
right.
worked.
That dude, this is amazing. It is amazing. And is there a website that I can direct people to if they
So
want to
wait,
buy tickets or something?
you can go to our Facebook. I mean, you can go to our Facebook, which is just Foxy Roxx Facebook page. You can find it very simple. There's Foxy Roxx Hollywood is our Instagram. And you can DM us or contact us on any of those platforms to be able to get tickets.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how I reached out to you through Instagram.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you guys are on top of it because actually I think maybe it was it the drummer that reached out or
It was Davey,
initially?
our yeah, me and him pretty much handle all this stuff. And he's like does so much. Like he does a world more than me because he has a little bit more time to do some of this than I
Yeah.
do. And so it's a good combo. I will handle these kind of things and do whatever, and he does so much with other stuff as well, including
Yeah.
setting up the pages and things. So
Wow.
it's great. It's a good combo.
Man, that is awesome. This is an incredible story. You guys are still rocking. Go purchase the new CDs and soon to be vinyl on
Yeah, I'm excited about the vinyl.
FNA Records. You've got new music coming out. You're going to be playing with Adler's Appetite. And I just got to give you one big dude.
I love that, dude.
Dude.
Rock on, man.
Yeah, because San Diego, that was
That is
dude.
San
That was
Diego,
it was
dude.
dude, dude.
Big
Man,
time.
this
Yeah.
has been awesome. I want to thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Keep up your good work on your stuff. I really do love your channel. You do a lot of great stuff.
Thank you. And let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Love it for sure.
Awesome, brother. Have a great evening, and we'll see you out there, brother.
Got it, man.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See you. Thank
See you,
you.
everybody. Thanks.